good one.
I mean, no, just a deer track. Get on your toes in here.
This is a good chance for a simulated hunt, like Liver King talks about.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Back out scouting again today. We'll give you a quick update here from our previous scouting video. We went in, we hung a trail camera in a new area, scouted around, found some good stuff, jumped a nice buck. And I think it was just yesterday or day before yesterday we had a good one on it. And it wasn't the same buck that me and Nick jumped. No. It was a different one, I'm pretty sure. So that's good news. Been getting pictures of some deer, getting a nice buck on there. Really doesn't mean anything else other than that at this point, because we just got to get closer to deer season. But it's encouraging to see that there's multiple nice bucks using that area. We're coming in today scouting an area that's kind of new. We haven't been to this particular section of this area, just we've never came way back in here and gotten to the thick stuff and really tried to narrow down where these deer are bedding. So
we're just gonna go chomp around a little bit.
This is like kind of creek bottom habitat. There's a lot of maples, it's real flat, a bunch of canary grass, like marshes mixed in with cattails and willows, and there's not much topography to it. So anytime you find a ditch like the one me and Nick are in right now, you want to pay attention to it, especially because this one isn't holding water at the moment. We can walk up and down this thing pretty quietly, as you can hear. Like, there's not much vegetation in the bottom of the ditch. There's several deer crossings right here, but this is putting us, 4 or 5 feet below the line of sight up out of the ditch. I'll just show you. I mean, as soon as I step up out of here, you're going to be able to see what I'm talking about. Now I'm up, and you can see behind me how it's just flat creek bottom. But once we get to this ditch, we drop in, and we are almost completely hidden. We might have to crouch a little bit. This is a nice little feature to pay attention to because you don't see it on a map hardly. All that shows up on OnX is just a tiny little intermittent stream. It's like if you can make it to this ditch and then follow this ditch up, popping up out of it and glassing every once in a while, you can see a long distance across these creek bottoms. We actually did that last year on a hunt where we basically snuck up on a group of bucks that had a doe pinned down in the middle of the rut. And we moved through open river bottoms like this because you can see them from such a long distance away, especially in the fall when all this vegetation is dead and dropping. We're going to keep going up this ditch a ways, scouting for crossings along the way and get up in a little bit thicker bedding. Back in here in this creek bottom where you can see there's a lot of real good straight trees. This is where people are going to set up their stands and hunt. How's them overalls treating you?
They're not bad. They're a little warm up here in the chest region, but they're old enough and thin that they're pretty breathable.
There you go.
It's better than wearing my blue jeans, I know that.
That's right.
And there's a lot of airflow in there, so
that's good.
Keeps things circulating. And then when we get done, we get back to the truck, I'll shed this shirt and then just wear overalls, no shirt. And then I'm just, not only am I stylish, but I'm cool and breathable. So
you're cool in both senses of the word.
Both sides. So
that's good.
There's 2 rules.
To being from Texas, you got to wear overalls without a shirt on.
Yeah, 2 rules. You got to wear overalls shirtless, and make sure you just look cool at all times, even if you're uncomfortable. So
makes good sense.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Looks like somebody from Wisconsin to me.
It looks like they got it double locked up almost.
I think there's 2 cameras, one facing one way and one
Oh, yeah.
I was just thinking, this little spot here, I'm sure we're not the first person to have seen all these old rubs in this hedge.
Yeah, this stuff's sweet right here. It's like the big trees and then goes into these little trees like this.
Mm-hmm. Game cam. I'm marking it on my map.
All right, I had one right here ready to go, but
somebody's got the spot taken. Just make it as a hazard. You don't walk past it. Like this. Hey, look out. You make this weird purple color, and you name it some Wisconsin gas game cam. Let's see how fast their trigger speed is.
He's already got his setup.
That's why I thought there was a camera on the tree. He said, ain't nobody ever getting in this thing. Nobody ever. Go on, get that thing. At least 4 locks. It's a pretty good spot. So Ted and I just found the stand and the cameras, obviously, and we're talking about why this is a good spot. There's transition lines here. There's marshy grass out there, marshy grass there. There's a line of pin oaks here, and then there's a line of these young maples here. As soon as we got on this transition line, it was looking, you know, too good to be true. There's rubs all down through here. And then I walked into the camera and then saw this tree stand. This is a heck of a spot. Somebody just beat us to it. You know, when we go into these areas, though, we're basically picking a spot beforehand on the map and just saying, you know, that looks good. This goes just straight to that. And Ted and I kind of, you know, we'll split up a little bit, but for the most part, we're going and checking transition lines like this. Unfortunately, for this particular spot, you know, somebody's in here, so we probably are not going to be overly interested in it. And we'll probably just keep moving and maybe go deeper. Maybe we'll find more there, but...
Yeah, the nice thing is we got like this spot we came in and checked, and then we already got another spot that picked out that we're going to go check after this in a different public area.
And this is a great example of transition lines on a basic scale. It's like pin oaks here, maple here, and both of those things can be food sources too, is the cool part about hunting here in the fall. You got potential acorns with the pin oaks, and then you've got maple leaves that will fall in late October in this area. So, you know, at any given point, the deer could be in here, and it's obvious they were here in Falls Pass because you got, I mean, probably 40 rubs down through here. Every little maple is pretty much rubbed right on this edge. So, and I'd say, honestly, we're probably in an old scrape right here.
Yeah.
So, moving on. Old rub, tree frog in the rub.
That's how you know it's a good one.
Thick in here, boy.
Oh yeah, plenty thick.
Real thick. A lot of beds right here in the last 30 yards.
Yeah, just right there.
Yep. There's another big bed right here, Nick.
Right under that limb.
See it right there?
Yep.
Some little scrubby oaks in here as well. That's a healthy one there. Couple beds right in here. There's a bed right there. Another one right there. We're standing on top of this little, I don't know, it's kind of like a little mini ridge in here, and it separates these two marshes. We've got a wet area back here over my right shoulder, and then what me and Nick just walked through, all this thick canary grass and stuff over here to my left. We just started getting into what I would say heavy sign in the last 100 yards or so.
Yeah, before that wasn't much.
Back when we were in that ditch back in the river bottom where all those big trees are at, that's where most people hunt because they can get a tree stand in there. But in here, I mean, look at the side of that tree. Look at all them shoots.
Yep.
See how they're all browsed off? These deer are spending a bunch of time back in here during the day. And you can see evidence of old rubs and scrapes and old browse sign and stuff where they're using this at different times of the year. Overall, it's a pretty accessible public area. A lot of people hunt it, and they can come into this place from multiple directions.
And here, there's one tree stand back there me and Zach saw on the way in.
Oh, way back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But other than that, it hadn't been much.
That's good. There's the ridge. There's a bed right there, facing out across this grass out here to the left.
I thought it was about to jump out and get me.
What was that?
I don't know, some sort of
cock or
chee-chee bird or something. I don't know. I thought it was going to get me for a second.
Some duck potato out here. That's duck potato or arrowhead plant. We've hunted over that stuff in the past. Deer really, really like it, especially the roots. You can see right here where it's starting to get pretty marshy in the edge of the cattails and stuff. There's a lot of this arrowhead in here. It's so thick. All this has been browsed off. See all that's been ate off on these trees? Probably scraping somewhere underneath this thing. Oh, there's a great big bed right underneath it. See? Right there. Big old bed. Pretty secluded spot. Got marsh going out that way with a bunch of water, cattails. Good escape cover anyway. Some of that duck potato. And you got that little ridge that we just walked down back here behind us with all that good browse and good cover.
Yeah.
Better drop a pin, eh?
I'd say we should.
We just came right up out of there. Got up on top of this dike or levee. Another big bed right here. It's that same like waist high stuff. Remember what we were finding last week? Yep.
And it's when it's that tall, is that when they like browsing on it?
I don't know if there's anything actually to it or not, or that's just my anecdotal observations of it. It sure seems like regardless of what cover type it is, once it gets to be about between waist and chest high, that's where they want to be. That's where bucks want to be, especially because they can lay down in it, they can completely disappear, but it's still short enough they can see through it. They have some sort of advantage. Like right here out of this bed, think about how much that thing can see.
Well, you can see on either side of the levee.
Yeah, I mean, he can see on both. He's got water on one side of him. He can see for 300 yards across there.
It's still concealed. It's still completely concealed.
Yeah, you'll never see him right there.
Unless he blows up out of there. And then, top of it, and all these acorn trees, I mean, just it's loaded all up and down this thing.
Seems like whenever we run into that, that's when we find them. In this instance, I'm not picking a tree or anything like that, like super specific. I'm just dropping pins on the general area. They could literally be laying anywhere within 400 yards of this thing. The good thing about this spot is that we can probably get way across this marsh back behind me and 20 feet up in a tree, and we can just glass this area, especially once these leaves fall.
See where they're bedding and where they're coming in and out of. Yeah. Make a play.
Heading back to the truck now. Found some real good bedding in there. Also found some hunter sign, and as you could tell, Ted was packing his trail camera back here. A lot of you were always asking us, how are we hanging our trail cameras up during the summer? How are we monitoring these areas? And in this situation, we're not gonna hang a camera in here. As you could tell, it's super, super thick. It's hard to even find any beaten trails in there just because the deer are meandering in and around that bedding area. They can go out 360 degrees around them. I think our plan is just to wait for it to get closer to season and then observe from across that marsh, like what me and Nick were talking about doing a while ago. Just coming here week before season or even during season and just spend an evening observing from a distance. You guys getting bit up?
Threw these sleeves down.
Oh yeah.
And then it,
versatile.
Yeah, shut it down. And I'm covered up to my navel here. A good overall should rest right beneath the areola. Right there.
Perfect. I said it better myself.
Hey, you know, if you're in the market for some good July overalls, old Nick's got you covered.